All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:31. It is Tuesday. Hopefully everyone's feeling well. It's been a good two calculated days in the market where finally we had a nice oversold bounce. It was very tradable. There was lots of ways to approach it, lots of ways to make really good money. Some things gave you some time to set up and get in there, and then finally ignite it, and you could have added to it. And here we are on Nvidia Day. Today is Nvidia Day. I think the keynote will be at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And then tomorrow is Fed Day. So the question is, what's next, right? Do we continue this oversold bounce into a bit of a higher levels going into OPEX Friday, or, we're not? At this point, every stock is not created equal. Yesterday, mega cap tech was on the side, did nothing. The Chinese names exploded, which was good because that was a big focus of ours. We were accumulating a lot of BABA last week. So hopefully a lot of you guys made some money. I know the Alpha team made a ton of money. Power Plays made a ton of money. And 630 Club, I definitely mentioned a few different ways to play BABA, Baidu for catch up. Started looking at PDD yesterday. Anyway, so gotta have gratitude when the trades are there and not get ahead of ourselves. And we don't want to also get caught up, just in case we do get to an area where all of a sudden that was the oversold bounce, and then then that's that. Anyway, with that being said, my name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. I'm the founder of Red Dog Mindset. This is the 630 Club, where I've been giving you guys a little bit of the narrative, a little bit of taste of what we do all day long. So this way you can get yourself together, get yourself situated, put your own plan together. And if you've been finding value in the 630 Club for free since 2020, you should subscribe to Red Dog Mindset. It's a good way to get your mind right, get prepared for the day so you can execute with confidence and make more money before a lot of things change come summertime. But anyway, with that being said, this is the chart of the SPYs. Here you had a nice little 2-day move, right? You had 549 last week. We held a little bit above it. You had the gap and go Friday, took out 559. Yesterday, the dip was buyable, and then we hit the 200-day. Usually you hit the 200-day. It's the same way when you come down to the 200-day, usually you hold it, especially if you come down from a very elevated place. And if you do remember up here, you had the false breakout. We broke the 8 and the 21-day. A lot of guys got out of the way right around 599. If you did so, you were able to test levels below. So once again, sometimes you hold the 200-day first, bounce or first kiss, that I like say, and then sometimes you get there and you fail at first kiss. So now, do we hold this 562.35 or a little bit higher? SPYs right now are down 2 and change. We were at 569.71, like around 340. So from 569 down to 565-ish, maybe this is buyable. I would think we have an inside day ahead of the Fed. I would think there's not really a whole lot to go on until a little bit later in the afternoon. So you just don't overdo it. I still have a little risk on. I still am going to be massaging some positions, and we'll see how it goes. It's good to map out areas. The Qs also. The Qs gave you a nice move. I don't have any Qs on. Maybe I'll buy a little bit of the dip here. Yesterday 477 held, and we hit a high of 485 below. Didn't get to the 200-day, we'll see what happens here today. The Qs are. What are the Qs doing this morning? The Qs are down 2. So probably the same thing. I would think there'll be some kind of trade in here today. So. And if you do have some, we should be able to trade around it. The real action was awesome yesterday in BABA. Power Plays, Michael put out there last week. We bought a whole new set of options besides the old options. And then yesterday, what was even better is you had a way to play. Like BABA was down $1 yesterday, and you were able to play it red to green and make money. Hey, a momentum trade. We haven't had a momentum trade in like 3 weeks. And then you were able to buy it through 145. And then it saw a high of 180, 148.43. So I love when I could buy something higher and sell it higher. It doesn't happen often. And so you could do that with the equity, and you can make money in the options. It's a beautiful world. So this was awesome. It's great to see technicals work, and they worked. And then if you look at the weekly chart, I showed you that also. The weekly chart to me looks like it's going to work its way towards 175 at some point. So I would stay with this trend. This stock was also at 175. It's still, it was at 319. So, and this was just where it was in 2020. So it's not asking for too much. Like, oh, Bob is up too much. I'm like, they said the same thing about all those Mag 7 names, 2 years ago. You remember here, like Meta? Remember when Meta hit that low, when it was thrown out the window? Oh, this was like back in the day when we were trading this all the way down here. I remember when people thought, it was over for Meta, and then I put a low and we traded it right here. This is like from 2022. I still have lines on all these charts. And then I remember people saying, oh, it's over. It just went to 180, it just doubled. And then meanwhile, look at this trend. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so don't get away from it. The Chinese names have been underperforming for like 3 years. So while I'm here on Meta, we want to take a look at the daily chart of Meta real quick. Yesterday, I lost a little bit of money in Meta. I actually, I bought a little bit pre-market, wound up going up like $3-4, but I wasn't looking to just make $3-4 in Meta. And then all of a sudden, it just, mega cap tech just wasn't the place to be. So what was yesterday's high in Meta? It was 613. I don't know what's going to change it today, but maybe these things go from red to green, so it's worth a look. So I'd be looking at Meta just in case. But it's really got to get above the 8-day. The 8-day has been resistance this entire time. I don't think, I don't think that this stock is done. I just think it's just the narrative of the tape right now. I don't think Amazon's done either also, but, until it gets above an area and until it starts acting better, you got to be very careful here. At this point, if yesterday's high in the SPYs and the Qs are the high of the week, chances are these things are going to break below. But I'm going to watch it today, see if there's some kind of, some kind of trade. Amazon's down 2, right? So what's Meta doing? Meta's down 2. So we'll see, if we could get some kind of signal for red to green in some of the mega caps. I'm going to trim some of the Chinese names, and I'm just glancing at it. If you were stuck yesterday on the mega cap tech and you didn't move your cheese, remember that book, Who Moved My Cheese? You missed out on a lot of money. So anyway, really quick, back to Bob. I do think, it could continue to the upside. This was a day one, but it was a pretty big one. For those of you who bought BABA last week, I went over this in the 630 Club last Thursday. I said you could be long verse 90 and then look for it to break above 97-ish, and there's room to 113, 115. Well, you're getting some follow through today. So here's 113 to 116. I'm definitely trimming trail. I bought PDD yesterday. Looks like, you have a huge channel here, a lot of accumulation. This is from 2023. Woke up. Last time we played it pretty well. So I'm in options, and I do think it can get above 133, and then we'll see what happens with earnings. If it continues up today and has another big day, I might turn my calls into a call spread, and then all of a sudden the play was financed by the proper entry. So anyway, that looks pretty good. I've also been holding this NEO for a while, been going out with options, and it's been really, it hasn't had any traction, but at least I'm buying it while it's lower. And then every time it has a big pop, I trim some options and I stay with it. At one point, it might get some real traction, but so far it hasn't. This is 536. Maybe, they just got a big cash infusion for one of their battery companies, and we'll see how it goes there now that the sentiment is so much better around NEO. Going back to the U.S., Dash made me a lot of money yesterday. Hopefully made you a lot of money. I've been talking about Dash on the 630 Club since August 5th. That's when my guys who, manage a few different hedge funds out there are like, Dash is misunderstood. Stay with this for the next few years. It's going to be a great trend. Get to know it. Turn it into something on your go-to list. And I think I started really getting involved around here. And then, PS, this is where we're at with Dash. Dash, one of the few names that actually broke above the 8 and 21 day, had a nice move yesterday. I would think it could even work its way higher. My estimate on Dash is going to be back like 250 plus. It just got added to the S&P 500. That means, it's just a newer name. People are catching on. But anyway, so that's a good one. Just put it on your, move it up your go-to list. That's all I'm asking you to do. I traded it a lot the last 6 months, and finally I started trading some more size. And yesterday, it really paid me well. So I'm excited about that. You go to the weekly chart so you can see the bigger picture on this. I haven't really adjusted the weekly chart in a while. So let's take a look here. Let's go. This was where it went up to. Kind of just came back in, held in pretty well. I still think this is a nice looking cup and handle. Still, this is the stock's in this kind of infancy. This is where when it came public, not a lot of stocks came public in 2021, 2022, and this did. So this was your accumulation, right? This was your cup and handle. This was your, hey, sloppy sellers, institutions, everyone getting their free money. And now it's being accumulated. At some point, it's going to get above this, and this thing could be a $400 stock in the years to come. But anyway, take a look at it. Great trade recently. It looks pretty good. So I'm in stock. I'm in options. I haven't paid up for it. It's not like a real momentum name where it's like you could buy high and sell higher. You have to really accumulate on dips and keep rolling options. That's what I've been doing here. There's my little group of these foursome. I remember I always get like a little bit, group of names that trade together. So Palantir looks decent, not fantastic, but it looks like this can continue to work higher. So that's something that you want to keep on as a leading indicator because that's been a leader. Apple Oven had a nice move for a lot of guys. Got to a 306 area, which was one of the targets. Actually, even a little bit higher than that. Very broken, but again, if you got out when it broke 488 or 499, you were able to buy it at the 200-day. Now this is like your resistance zone. So what's Apple Oven doing today? Probably down a little bit. Actually up $1.70. So again, range trading. That's what we do sometimes, right? Meanwhile, crypto is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Excuse my French. Why do I say that? Because it is. But I guess as long as it holds this little area, I'm going to try and stay with it. If it breaks 46.87, I might have to get out of the way. Bitcoin is the best when it's leading, not when it's lagging. And right now it's still consolidating and lagging. Same thing with like Tesla. Tesla's the best when it's leading, not when it's like getting dragged up and playing catch up, because you just know there are sellers everywhere. And listen, Tesla's been a problem. Tesla, Elon, is making a lot of enemies around the world. The registrations in China are going lower, and Europe's going lower. Half of America doesn't agree with what he's saying, and he's doesn't have time to spend on his company. So technically, it's been bad. Ever since we made a lot of money on this gap up post-election. It was above the 8-day. This is why I have a technique. The 8 and 21-day gets my opinions out of it. It gets my my thought process just based on the technicals. And then look at this red dog reversal up here. What a major red dog reversal. We were actually short up there because look how extended it was. Then you had a lower high, lower high, lower high, broke 360, broke 325. I came in long yesterday, and then yesterday I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. He's getting sugar honey iced tea from everywhere. And this stock's really has to prove to me. I don't want to be in a battle when there's a lot of other easier things out there. So if you happen to be still in Tesla, use this 220, 230, what is this? 232-ish, so 233-ish. This has got to hold. If this doesn't hold, you got to be careful and get out of the way. But anyway, Nvidia's got its Nvidia day today. So what did I do in Nvidia? So yesterday, I thought it was actually pretty interesting that they sold Nvidia because of people like, oh, everyone knows what Jensen's going to say. They know. I'm like, what do you mean they know? I'm like, they don't know anything. All I know is that you had a red dog reversal 105.46. That actually helped lead the market. Went as high as 122. So it was actually better that they sold it down a little bit yesterday. So it can't just be such a sell the news event no matter what he says. So watch this later at 1 o'clock. We'll see what happens here. Yes, this was a sellable event, and that on that day was when the market started to get sellers again. This was another sellable day where it opened up above a prior high, couldn't hold it. So if you sold strength, couldn't boom, took that level out. So now we'll see what happens here. You know what the high is, 122.89, 118.03. So here are your parameters. If they try and sell the event and they can, and Nvidia rallies, chances are that'll help this move that started on Friday go a bunch higher. So we'll see. So this is pretty important. Into this dip, I bought some 125 calls just in case they want to trap people that have had such an easy time selling the event. Risk is premium paid. I'll probably trade it also, but I figured, hey, into that move down to 118, 119, I bought some 225 calls for Friday, also just to have it on, because if we're going to rally through the Fed and we're going to rally, not saying we will, chances are Nvidia is going to be one of the vehicles that they use because the market focuses on it. So everyone's like, Red Dog, where could the market go if we do continue to rally? I would say this 575, 580 is a really big spot. If we start getting to 575, 580, I would say at that point, maybe go out 2-3 weeks and put some hedges on because, I'm not going to, put a big prediction out there, but I tend to think that this will not be the low of 2025. But again, people said that here too when we had the low of August 5th, and then right there they never rejected price, and right here it penetrated, and then it created a big move. Anyway, with that being said, and some people are saying, hey, Red Dog, you had nice buy in your blood in the street account. I put a third to work. Where do you sell that? Typically if I only do one tier, which is really a third, I just wait till we get back to new highs, which I don't know what's going to happen anytime soon. If I do 2-3 tiers, meaning we're not down just 10%, we're down 19% off the highs. Usually if we're down 19% off the highs and I'm in 2 tiers or more than that, then we rally 5% off that low and I sell a tier to have more room if we happen to go lower. But for right now, I have a third in. My average cost is probably right around this 562-ish. If we got to 580, and we close on the highs because I have to buy or sell on the close, maybe I reduced a little bit for those that model that account, but ultimately I'm in no rush to sell that account, and I'm just looking to trade my swing account and my my active account and get day 3 together. Anyway, let me say hello to some of my dogs before we go. This is YouTube, this is Twitter. A lot of you guys signed up for Red Dog Mindset. I appreciate that. Some of you have been doing it for 7 weeks. I went from 195, I'm at like 183. I just started taking creatine. I feel strong, getting the mind right. A lot of you guys are doing the workout with me in the sauna. If you're not doing it in the sauna, some of you have a nice workout area to put a blanket, a towel, or some of you like to just be on a treadmill or a stand machine or a stationary bike and listen for those 20 at 520, because if you're up early, sometimes it's good to hear what the thought process is in the morning, besides everything else that we're going to be doing on the weekends. But anyway, the subscribe button is above. If you've been finding value in the 630 Club literally for 5 years, maybe you should spend 33 cents a day. It's not a lot of money. Anyway, what up, Richard Judge? How you doing? Mancini says April 2nd, reciprocal taxes are proposed to go on. Talking heads on TV will have a field day. Okay, well, it's only March 18th. So April 2nd, we could see 575, 580 before that happens, and then get some hedges on, and then we make money that way too. So I get it. Mikey Pag says, get it done. What up, Be Well from Austin? Good morning. What up, Mike Reed? Are you still drinking the green tea from your friend? You know what? I fell off that boat. It's hard. I just have so much time in the day, especially with Phoenix. I have a puppy at home, so you can't be gone for 2 hours. And with the tea, I have to make the tea at night and put it into a container and then sip it. I'm going to try and get back on the bandwagon. It's sitting on my counter. They want to see how I feel on that, Red Dog. Tim Lyons, when you say risk is premium paid on options, do you not put any? I don't put stops in my options. It's usually my friend Brando, I'm going to give Brando a shout out. He's from Elite Options. He says you size your options for a 0, meaning typically it's hard. You can't put a stop loss on options because in 7 minutes you could be down 30%. So I put options on where I feel like, I'm fine with that being a 0, but it should be a 200 to 300% play. And then I trade the stock when the strategy kind of ignites. So, but I don't typically have, stops on my options. Sometimes when I know it's wrong, I'll salvage it a little bit. If I'm thinking the market's going to go higher and it goes lower, I'm like, hey, I bought these options for $1.80. Now they're 60 cents and I have 20 of them or something, or 30 or 40. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let this just go to 0 and I'll take it off. Good morning from Austin. Tony Wallace says, chilly in Florida this morning. I just spoke to one of my friends. He said it's pretty nice in Florida. Bobby 4.0, never skip leg day. Good morning. 36-hour fast almost finished. Yeah, so I do my fast on Mondays. I almost went out for a drink with my friends for St. Patrick's Day. I'm like, you know what? It's Monday. I want to set the week off on the right tone, and I don't need to have. I'm not Irish. I don't need to have drinks with you on a Monday. I'm going to stick to my fast and stick to my process. But anyway, do I have any opinion on the cruise lines? Not really. Seems like the cruise lines, they said the economy is slowing. Usually my friend, when we were looking at this like months ago, NCLH, looks like a broke trend up here like everything else. And it looks like it's trying to give you a lower level bounce like everything else. Yeah, maybe you could see a move towards the 21-day, I guess. But these things don't move well. These are like positions. I'm sure there's other cruise lines you could look at, but this is the Norwegian cruise line. Came above here. Maybe there's some room there. Airlines, you look at the jets. Oh my God, the jets are so bad. sector, and sports team. Jets, look at this wide range bar right here. That could have got you out when all the moving averages broke. If you did, bounce to the 8-day, maybe you want to test the 200-day. So a lot of the markets look exactly kind of correct. How if you sold when it broke the 8 and 21-day, which is why we use that. You could have been looking to buy back, into last week and see where do we rally up towards. All right, guys, have a good day. What's my thoughts on Hood? Probably could have a bounce here too. It's already trying. So here, it already had a decent move off the lows, just like everything else. Where could it get to? I guess it can get towards the moving averages, which is right here, but you've already had 2 days. This was your out. Remember that big gap up? When gaps get filled, you get the hell out of the way, and that's what happened right here. If you were long thinking it was going to be a bull flag continuation, now is your out. If you get out at 61, you had the luxury to try it down here. And I would think this is some pretty big resistance into the 44 area. All right, guys, I got to jump. I got to do my 40 charts for the alpha team. I got to get ready for Redler All Access and then do the morning call and then get on the radio and navigate the day. If you're trading alone and you feel like you get a lot of value at the 630 Club, well, you'd get a ton more, on the alpha team trading with 500, prop traders from around the world that trade for a living, that come up with great ideas and that are live all day long, talking thoughts and levels and news and just good people overall. So anyway, with that said, if not, you just want to tune in here, cool. And again, if you do find value, you've been making money and I've been keeping your head right since 2020, subscribe to the Red Dog Mindset because you can get a lot more value there as well for very cheap, and get grandfathered in. All right, guys, I'll see you a little bit later.